TCL. Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
But we got a team in here. And this is like a cat. Now every time I be we go. Score.
My day would be so done after doing that.
Can we do it now? Do it now. See if we can get Judd out of breath for all four questions.
No, I don't know. No, I told you my day would be done. And plus my back hurts. I tweaked it this morning a little bit. So I'm trying to be very careful right now.
Wait, would you just like rolling out of bed, or did you?
No, I was in I was in the shower, and I think I tried to suck my gut in just a bit to soap up.
Oh no!
And my mid-back seized up a little bit.
I was gonna ask.
Do I clip that for socials?
No, I'm telling you.
But I think I know why, and I don't want to know why.
Oh no, you don't want to know why. But my back seized up. Now, fortunately, it unseized quickly.
This is what happens when Judd sucks in the gut and sees glory.
No, it wasn't. Like you're sort of right, but you're not entirely. Like, don't go down, not totally go down that path. But yeah, it was. It seized up. It hurt. I'm in some pain.
Oh my God.
I think we should just let Judd explain his morning routine to us here.
It starts the same way almost every day. I let the dog out.
4-question Friday is going to include some juicy Aaron Rodgers speculation, and also the Vikings may have found and I will use air quotes, solution at left guard yesterday via trade. But Declan, I think Corona Hard Seltzers I think they're worth cheersing every time the Vikings add an offensive lineman to their stable, whether that offensive lineman has a 40 pass grade on PFF or not. At least he's a body.
You know, I don't know why my guy Tricky Rick Spielman doesn't just call me up and say, Dex, let's crack some Corona Hard Seltzers and let's get real down to the meat and potatoes of interior pressure. And I'd say, Rick, why don't you grab a tropical lime? I'll grab the blackberry lime. You take the right guard. I'll take the left guard here. Okay, that's how we're gonna attack this because this offensive line is slowly getting towards that Pure Beach vibes that Corona Hard Seltzer rocks, but we're still not there. We're in a holding pattern over the beach if you catch my drift. So we have to figure out a way to get the right Pure Beach vibes to protect Kirk Cousins, because Corona Hard Seltzer is the only hard seltzer made with Pure Beach vibes, with a refreshing splash of fruit flavors such as tropical lime, mango cherry, and blackberry lime. Corona Hard Seltzer is a tasty spiked sparkling water with a splash of natural fruit flavor that allows you to enjoy the moment. In each can, Corona Hard Seltzer has 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 90 calories, and is gluten-free. Relax responsibly. Corona Hard Seltzer spiked sparkling water with natural flavors, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
You like that? You like that?
Question number 1 on this 4-question Friday. I'm going to set this up. David Sampson, former president of the Miami Marlins and a Milwaukee native. He's very plugged into all kinds of different sports. So he's hosting a podcast for CBS Sports. And on his most recent episode, Sampson laid out the reason why he thinks 2021 is Aaron Rodgers' last year in Green Bay. So earlier this week, the Packers paid Rodgers a $6.8 million roster bonus instead of converting it to a signing bonus that would have saved them $4.5 million in salary cap space this year. So as teams are scrounging for cap space and looking for a couple extra $1 million here and there, the Packers had a very easy path to doing so by just converting his roster bonus to a signing bonus, which they could spread into future years of the contract. They said, we'd rather just pay the freight right now and not spread it into future years. The Packers also still have not approached Rodgers about a restructure or an extension that would free up more money this year and push money into future years. So basically, the Packers can get out of Rodgers' contract after 2021 with fairly minimal damage as long as they don't push more money into future years. They're going out of their way to pay as much money to Rodgers now instead of 2022-23. Mm-hmm. Rodgers is 37. And by the way, Sampson concludes, for these reasons, this is why Aaron Rodgers will not be in Green Bay after 2021. Rodgers is 37. There's zero chance the Packers would trade him directly to the Vikings, as we saw with Brett Favre 11 years ago. Is there a path to Aaron Rodgers playing for the Vikings?
Oh, I think it would need to be pretty much a replication of sorts of what Favre did, where he is on an AFC team for a year and then becomes a free agent. Brett retired to manipulate the system to the degree that he could then join the Vikings in 2009. But I would, after seeing what Brett did, I would never say never. And with how the Vikings are constructed, and always the questions of quarterback, and Kirk signed through 2022. I would say yes, that there is going to be a path. And what Sampson writes, I think, or talks about, is dead on. And this is the most important thing. It's very clear, and I understand why the Green Bay Packers, right or wrong, and it might be wrong, are setting themselves up to sever ties with Rodgers here and go to Jordan Love, because the attractiveness of drafting Jordan Love and having him is the rookie contract. Like, once that's gone, if he doesn't play much in his first 5 years, which, by the way, makes no sense to take him in the first round then. But if he doesn't, he's still going to cost more. So I think from what Sampson is saying, and that's why there were reports earlier this week, I think, Phil, that they were going to try and push some of the money in his contract out. And then Rob Domofsky, our friend from ESPN Wisconsin, reported, no, they're not going to. That's why this makes sense, that we are headed right now, I think, pretty quickly for a divorce between the Packers and Rodgers. And I think he is as vengeful, probably he's a different personality, but he's as vengeful as Brett Favre. Definitely a path for Aaron Rodgers to end up either in purple or with the Bears, because obviously Andy Dalton's not their long-term guy either. I would put my money, if he gets jettisoned like it looks like he's going to, on him playing for one of those two teams, because it ain't going to be the Detroit Lions.
So I'm trying to think of the path. Like, you're right. It would have to be like they would trade him to an AFC team in, whoever. I'm trying to think of a team that the Raiders or something. That maybe you're looking to upgrade from Derek Carr in a year from now. Actually, the Raiders would be a really fun spot. John Gruden, like, that would be a really fun spot for Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
But then he would have to basically force his way to free agency, or there would have to be another trade. So I think it's a lot, as fun as it would be, and as much as the Vikings are coming up on sort of quarterback freedom here in a year or two, so the timing of it sort of works out. I just don't know how it happens, because again, it's not going to be a direct path from the Packers to the Vikings. His contract still has 2 more years left on it after this, even though the guaranteed money starts to run out.
Right.
So it means that whoever has his rights, he's not just a free agent after 2021 is what I'm saying. And I don't think there's any way that they would cut him. I think they would want to get something for him. They could probably get a first or multiple first-round picks for him. So it would be super fun, but I just think it's less likely than the Brett Favre situation, because Brett Favre went, like you said, went through like fake retirements and jumped through so many hoops to make it happen, but
how vindictive it is A-Rod.
Very, very.
He's very vindictive, so he could do that.
He's a sociopath. Like, that dude has no friends and family, has fake relationships for PR purposes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he is. I think he's probably more off the wall than Brett, because Brett is off the wall, but what you see is what you get. I think Rodgers has a whole nother level of potential vindictiveness that could rear its head at some point in time. The only other thing with Rodgers as a possibility is this one. Could he go home to California and end up in San Francisco? Because I could see that being a possibility, and he might be happy there. And it would certainly give him a potential opportunity to stick it to the Packers as well. Not as much as it would if he stayed in the division, but he would probably get that chance if the Packers were successful with Jordan Love. But I do think this is gloriously going to end up ugly, which I absolutely love and applaud. That's all I want. I had a Vikings fan tweet me yesterday about how if you're a Vikings fan too, you don't want another Green Bay quarterback here to win a Super Bowl. You want to develop that quarterback and win a Super Bowl so Packer fans can't come back and say, you used our quarterback. I said, no, I want the juicy story. I 100% want the juicy story.
Also, it's the Brett Favre thing. People said that about the Brett Favre thing. No, you're thinking about it wrong. It's not a knock on the Vikings for stealing a Packers quarterback. It's a feather in the cap. It's hilarious. Like, We
I
took
guess.
your quarterback and almost won a Super Bowl.
And
he would have gone in the Vikings Ring of Honor. Like, he would have been what Jack Morris is to the Minnesota Twins here.
Yeah.
You know, that one-year mercenary. He would have been that for the Vikings.
And your quarterback hated you, and you hated him. What wasn't to love about? I mean, when Lambeau Field, when Brett Favre comes through that tunnel before the game in Green Bay in 2009, and the building is literally shaking because he's getting booed so hard. What's not to love about that?
Yeah. It's I don't know. I think it would be super fun and super hilarious. Question number 2.
You like that? You like that?
All right, so the Vikings traded yesterday a 6th-round pick for interior offensive lineman Mason Cole, who's played with the Cardinals the last 3 years. Former 3rd-round pick. So he's been mostly a center, which is interesting. I don't think the Vikings are in love with their current center. But as a center, he's been mostly terrible, according to Pro Football Focus. So pass blocking grades of 46 and 41 in 2020 and 2018 when he played large chunks of snaps as a starting center. Now, he did play 129 snaps as a guard in 2019, and PFF had his pass blocking grade at 63, which is a little bit more respectable. But for the most part, he's been one of the worst starting centers in the NFL the last few years when he's been a starter. So he's only I think he's 25 years old. There is a little bit of upside there. I don't know that here's where I'm at with this. If this is a 6th-round pick for a guy that brings some depth and can play a couple positions, and he's a backup to whoever your left guard's going to be and to Garrett Bradbury, totally fine with it. This is a more effective body on the roster than just like a random 6th-round pick. So I'm fine with it. If this is your solution at left guard, I'm out and I'm perplexed. What do you guys think?
I think this is the replacement as far as the depth guy goes, I think, for Brett Jones, who's been there. He's been cut, but he's been back and forth since the Vikings got him from the Giants. It was like 3 years ago at this point. I think that is Mason Storm's role. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Mason Cole. Steven Seagal, man, Mason Storm. I love Mason Storm. But anyway, I think that this is the backup center and guard that they just want to have as a depth guy. Is he going to compete for the left guard job? I don't know. I do not like, just to be clear, whether they made this move or not, I do not like how this is tracking at guard unless there's something I don't see coming. Like, they're going to probably, I still think, if they can, sign Forrest Lamp. But, you know, Phil, as you said, from your PFF data from last year, it's not like Forrest Lamp's going to come in and be Randall McDaniel or Steve Hutchinson. So I really don't know what they're doing, and it all feels very typical Vikings. Let's sort of patchwork the line again, unless there's more to come in the draft or something. But I believe that this guy is, it looks to me like probably a depth guy. He might get a chance to compete for a starting job. The problem is, I don't trust the Vikings fully, and when Dakota Dozier's allowed to start an entire season for your team at left guard, and he's that bad, I think I'm right, but I'm not positive. So Mason Cole might actually compete for that left guard job.
What about you, Dex? Did you buy your Mason Cole custom thread jersey yesterday, or where do you stand on this?
No, I cracked like 2 more Corona Hard Seltzers when the news came down. He's fine as a depth guy. That's fine. A 6th-round pick, like, if you took a 6th-round pick or a guard with your 6th-round pick in that spot that you used to get Mason Cole, I'm going to guess that Mason Cole's probably better than that player. Yeah. So I'm fine with that logic in theory. But yes, if that's the final solution, we got bigger problems. I mean, he's just a depth guy at this point. You know, like that's who he should be. It should not be your final solution for the offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They still have some money to spend, so like it might just be that we got a chance to get a depth guy for a 6th-round pick. Sorry, I'm chewing on ice cubes. So that's if it's your solution, it's a problem. If it's depth, awesome. It's actually a great trade then. All right, boys. Question number 3.
You like that? You like that?
Is presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So if you're a Minnesota sports fan and you're a business owner in particular, Federated is a great little intersection for you because they've been supporting local Minnesota sports teams for years and years, and they've been supporting business owners in Owatonna is where their headquarters are at. And they've been supporting business owners for over 100 years. So you want to find out more about how Federated and My Shield which is the online client destination for risk management resources, how they can help your business. Visit federatedinsurance.com or download the app. It's free to download, and you'll find out all the great benefits and risk management tools that they can help you with. At Federated, it's our business to protect yours. All right, question number 3. What is the one thing, either position or player, regarding the Vikings that you are the most confident about right now?
I'm going to go with a element of the defense because I think it's going to have to be good, right? Run defense. Like you signed Dalvin Tomlinson. You've got Michael Pierce coming back. Kendricks missed the last month. He's back. Barr is back. I don't see how the run defense can't be damn good. And you know what? Teams will run into, at least for the first month, they will continue to do what they often do, which is let's run up the gut, right? Let's take that A gap. And the Vikings were bad there last year. And I don't think that they're going to have success because on first and second down and rundowns, the Vikings are going to have 2 massive men there. So I am thoroughly confident. I don't know it's the right move, but I am thoroughly confident that having 2 nose tackles in the middle of the line will make this probably a top 5 run defense in 2021. That's my most confident.
Dex?
Yeah, my confidence isn't necessarily a position group, but it's just the weapons. I think the offensive weapons that Kirk Cousins is going to have at his disposal are going to be huge. Look, Adam Thielen is getting up there in age, but he's still obviously a very good wide receiver. Justin Jefferson's a star. Dalvin Cook's legit. Irv Smith, who was banged up a little bit, started to turn it on towards the second half of the season. And that's not to say that they still might not add a rookie in maybe one of their first few picks as well. So I think the offensive weapons are there. It's obviously the age-old question that we keep coming back to for the last 2 years. Can you protect Kirk Cousins to give him the time to get to those weapons? But the offensive weapons, they're here, man. Everything, all the tools are in that shed, basically.
I'm actually going to say the defense as a whole. I know that they still need a pass rusher. I think they're going to address that. They're going to find somebody. They might wind up with a hole at safety or something that they don't feel great about. But it kind of feels like Mike Zimmer, he won the war of how should we use our resources this offseason. And he now has a sandbox with a ton of toys to play with, and he's getting guys back and healthy, and he's getting exactly what he wants. And so I don't think they're going to be as good as the 2017 Vikings defense, which was number 1 in yardage and I think points and also yards per play. But I think they're going to knock on the door of being a top 5. I think they're top 10, once all the pieces come back healthy. I think my question is, did you improve your defense enough to get you into Super Bowl contention? Because there is a difference between a top 10 defense and a bona fide number 1 defense that is like winning games single-handedly. There's a huge difference.
Yes.
And so I'll keep saying I would have poured more resources into the offense to get that thing into the top 3, but Mike Zimmer has his vision, and I'm confident that his expertise and having players that he wants is going to bring this thing back to life. All right, question number 4 for you guys.
You like that? You like that?
All right, outside of the offensive lines, we're going to take that out because we're all questioning the offensive line.
Yes.
What is the next thing on the list that concerns you the most right now as we sit in the second week of free agency?
I'd like to delve into not offense, not defense. I'd like to delve into the world of special teams, okay? Because there are 3 phases to football. 3 phases. And special teams is one of them. You know what concerns me? And this is another problem. It's sort of like left guard. The Vikings always try and fix this one, it seems like on the cheap, or they bring a guy in, and it's like left guard. It's a position that you really should spend on so your head coach does not have to concern himself with it because he's not necessarily an expert. The Vikings kicker's name is a young man by the name of Greg Joseph, who has been kicking on and off for the last few years, but he spent last year, and like the selling point was, he was on the practice squad with the world champion Buccaneers. Like, that's like somehow some great job.
Tom Brady made eye contact with him one time.
Yes, like, the Buccaneers protected him throughout the season. He must be important. Well, he's a kicker, and they were smart enough to know that if their kicker got hurt, that they then had a backup. But the key word that I just said was backup kicker. Greg Joseph, if you go back through the last few years, has not consistently kicked at all. And he is going to be the replacement right now for Dan Bailey. I'll go back to Childress again, a guy I give a lot of grief to. but a guy who, when he got here in 2006, identified the Vikings musical chairs at kicker and said, this is ridiculous. This is an important job. Let's pay Ryan Longwell, who's a veteran who knows his stuff. Let's pay him to come in here and solidify it. And then, you know what? For the next 4 or 5 years, we don't have to worry about kicker. It was a very smart move. And somebody should have told Zim long ago, let's get a real good one who you can trust so we don't have this musical chairs. Because guess what? Dan Bailey was so mind-bleeped by the time that you played Tampa Bay that he cost you that game. Like, you probably could have beaten the world champion Buccaneers on their home field if you had had a kicker who wasn't mind-bleeped. And he's partially mind-bleeped because of the coach. So I'm going to go with kicker because I have to write down and look at Greg Joseph's name because for the life of me, I can't remember it on a consistent basis. That's not a good starting point.
Whatever, like, why did Kai Forbath just, like,
I know.
get bumped from the league?
I think because he missed extra points. I think that's what the Vikings. But to that point, Kai Forbath made one of the most important kicks in Vikings history because without him, the Minneapolis Miracle doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. He made, a 52-yard field goal, 53-yard field goal in that game that saved their bacon. Mm-hmm. So you're right.
It's weird that guys like that. He missed a couple extra points here and there. Okay, and Greg Joseph's not going to. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. Dex, what about you? What's the thing that concerns you the most? Not named offensive line.
For me, I'm very curious more than maybe it's a concern, but I want to see what the linebacking crew does because Eric Kendricks obviously is damn good. I mean, according to PFF, since 2019, he's been the best linebacker in coverage, and he's a stud. But what can Anthony Barr do? Who replaces Eric Wilson? I know it's not the most important position. The Vikings need to show up their pass rush. They obviously need to stop the pass with their young cornerbacks. But I'm curious what the linebacker crew does. Does Anthony Barr come back to the player he was before? Do they use him more situationally? I know we've kind of starting to throw away that idea. I'm just curious on what the linebacking crew kind of looks like and how they're deployed in Zimmer's defense.
Yeah. Anthony Barr is like the great mystery of this era of Vikings football, in that PFF doesn't love him, and if you look at sacks or something, we'd love to see more from Anthony Barr, even though he's a 4-3 linebacker. But then Mike Zimmer and other people that watch Vikings film more closely than I do would say, well, he does a lot of things that maybe he doesn't get credit for, or he takes up a lot of the opposing team's game planning mental bandwidth, right? So I don't know. I guess we'll see if he gets unleashed in 2021. I think the thing that I'm the most concerned about, not counting offensive line, is actually still offensive scheme. It feels like if they want to max their offense to the peak potential, and if they want to be Super Bowl contenders, they have to throw the ball more and be more aggressive in certain situations. The first half, they were just so absurdly run heavy compared to the rest of the league last year that it actually prevented them from getting out to bigger leads by halftime. The Vikings, until the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, I think were the second lowest scoring team in the first half in the NFL, and then they would rack up all these points in the second half. I just want to see a more aggressive, pass-centric offensive approach, but the comeback is, oh, well, if you can't pass protect, then why would you call more pass plays? And touche. I know. So I think just scheme and philosophy offensively are the two things that I'm just looking sideways at still.
I'm sure that a eventual left guard and left tackle will help, right? If they're there.
I'd like to think so.
Are they going to start the season without them?
I get that they're going to have they'll draft someone in the first round, or they'll make a trade or a signing. There are still moves to be made, but it is kind of amazing that we're sitting here and we don't know who the left tackle and left guard are going to be for the Vikings almost into April 2021.
Mason Cole, baby. Mason Cole at your service.
Mason Storm. Super tight jeans and a weird ponytail.
This one's for the Vikings.
All right, that's a wrap on this 4-question Friday here on Purple Daily. Don't forget to download the Score North app. It's the central hub for all of our podcasts, Judd's written work, and push notifications when breaking news hits about your favorite Minnesota sports teams. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on the show.